Hey you guys, Stars Fan Cole here. I wanted to put my thoughts on Rhoda's possible return to the Mandalorian Grogu movie. I'm excited for a Mandalorian Grogu movie. I'm excited to see the adventures of Grogu and the Mandalorian. Maybe see Grogu become a little more independent. I would like to see. I'd also love to see Moff Gideon, a Force Sensitive clone of Moff Gideon somehow return. And I'd love to see Luke Skywalker return and share a Force dyad with Grogu to defeat the Force Sensitive clone Moff Gideon. That'd be awesome. But that's not the full part I'd like to discuss. I'd like to discuss my thoughts on Rhoda the Hutt's return. Now, I'm excited for Rhoda the Hutt's return because I love Rhoda the Hutt from the Clone Wars shows. He's a pretty cool baby Hutt. But the thing where I sort of had a problem with it is that inside the Book of Boba Fett, Bib Fortuna sort of picked off where Jabba the Hutt left off and sort of just took over Jabba the Hutt's empire, only to be killed by Boba Fett when Boba Fett killed Bib Fortuna, and then basically took over Jabba the Hutt's operation for a more better good. But really, why have Bib Fortuna of all people take over Jabba the Hutt's criminal empire? Why not have it be his son, Rhoda the Hutt, take over? That's just the part I have a problem with Rhoda the Hutt's return, is that it doesn't make that much sense, because I feel like it was a total missed opportunity to have, Rhoda the Hutt take over Jabba the Hutt's operation after Return of Jedi into the Mandalorian, instead of Bib Fortuna taking over, because Rhoda the Hutt is Jabba the Hutt's son, so it would have made more sense if Star Wars just made, Rhoda the Hutt take over Jabba the Hutt's criminal empire after the events of Return of Jedi instead of Bib Fortuna. That's why I have a little bit of an issue with Rhoda the Hutt's return inside the Mandalorian Grogu movie, because it doesn't make sense, because where was Rhoda the Hutt during the events of the Book of Boba Fett after Return of the Jedi, and why return them now? I ultimately feel like it's too late to return Rhoda the Hutt, because we, instead of having Bib Fortuna take over Jabba the Hutt's empire, it could have been Rhoda the Hutt, and that could have led into the Mandalorian Grogu movie. And that's ultimately why I feel a little disappointed with the Book of Boba Fett, is that it had every opportunity to return Rhoda the Hutt to take over Jabba the Hutt's empire instead of Bib Fortuna. It would have made more sense if Bib Fortuna didn't take over Jabba the Hutt's empire, and that it was Rhoda the Hutt who took over Jabba the Hutt's empire instead. That would have made more sense Star Wars-wise. And that's ultimately why I feel a little disappointed with, is that we didn't get to see Rhoda the Hutt return in the Book of Boba Fett when it would have made the most sense. So now, returning Rhoda the Hutt to the Mandalorian Grogu movie, I kind of feel like it's too late. I kind of feel like it was a missed opportunity in the Book of Boba Fett. Therefore, I kind of feel like it's too late to just return Rhoda the Hutt in the Mandalorian Grogu movie. I just feel like it's too late. It's a lost cause. And they had every single chance to do it inside, Boba Fett. They had every single chance to return Rhoda the Hutt inside Book of Boba Fett instead of Bib Fortuna, and yet they didn't do that. They completely messed it up. And that's mainly why I have a problem with Rhoda the Hutt returning in the Mandalorian Grogu movie, because you're dude, where was Rhoda the Hutt during Book of Boba Fett? And why return him now to, I don't know, Mandalorian Grogu movie? What role will he play since he wasn't inside the Book of Boba Fett? How does he fit into the story? That's where I have a problem. Because, that's another problem I have with Emperor Palpatine's return, is that we didn't have much backstory on how Emperor Palpatine returned in the first place in The Rise of Skywalker. We didn't really have much backstory on how he returned, because like, you know, like we could have gotten an origin story that explained how Palpatine returned from the dead and how he fits in the story. But instead, Palpatine's return made no sense in The Rise of Skywalker, because the writers didn't know how to make sense of Palpatine's return, because they don't understand George Lucas' Star Wars vision and philosophy. That's the main reason why I had a problem with Palpatine's return, is because, like, it didn't make sense. So I'm kind of afraid of Rhoda the Hutt's return sort of running into that same category, because, like, Rhoda the Hutt's return, I kind of want it to make sense and not be like Palpatine's return that made no sense. Ultimately, what I would prefer instead of just bringing back Palpatine with no story on how he returned, I really would have loved it if Disney just, like, took the, like, Star Wars Dark Empire book and sort of made Palpatine's return from Star Wars Dark Empire book into the sequel trilogy to make at least some sense of Palpatine's return, because, like, like, the Star Wars Dark Empire book made Palpatine's return make a little bit more sense. And I kind of wish they would put that into The Rise of Skywalker to make Palpatine's return make sense, instead of it being, like, a big mystery of how he returned, with the whole line of somehow Palpatine returned. That made no sense. They should have just took Palpatine's return from the Star Wars Dark Empire book, put it into a sequel trilogy to make Jabba the Hutt's return make more sense, instead of making it make no sense. That's what worries me with Rhoda the Hutt's return, is that will it make sense, or will it make no sense just like how it made no sense of Palpatine's return? That's ultimately what I'm a little worried about. Because, like, Book of Boba Fett had every single opportunity to have Rhoda the Hutt take over Jabba the Hutt's operation. Instead, they brought back Bib Fortuna and sort of had Bib Fortuna take over Jabba the Hutt's operation, instead of Jabba the Hutt's son, Rhoda the Hutt, taking over Jabba the Hutt's criminal empire, which is ultimately what I felt a little disappointed with, because it would have made more sense if Jabba's son took over instead of Bib Fortuna. And that's why I have a problem with Rhoda the Hutt returning inside Mandalorian Grogu movie, is that how will they make sense of it? How will Rhoda the Hutt fit into the story? That's what worries me, is that they'll return Rhoda the Hutt to the story of the Mandalorian Grogu movie, but they won't have any backstory into, like, how he fits into the movie, like The Rise of Skywalker, for example. That's what worries me. So please, Disney Lucasfilm, if you're hearing me out, if you're watching this video and hearing this video, please, if you're gonna return Rhoda the Hutt inside a Mandalorian Grogu movie, please make sure to bring some backstory into how Rhoda the Hutt fits into this movie, instead of just returning Rhoda the Hutt without no backstory and how he returned, and not repeating the same mistakes of Palpatine's return that made no sense. Please, Disney. Please make Rhoda the Hutt's return make more sense and not repeat the same mistakes of Palpatine's return in The Rise of Skywalker that made no sense, please. Please, Disney. Star Wars is much better than that, so please make Rhoda the Hutt's return make more sense. And not a repeat of Palpatine's return, please. Alright, those are my thoughts. Star Wars Fan Cole, out.